Hello and welcome to the Google Apps Education Edition Overview webinar. Today we are going to be talking about an overview of cloud computing, Google Apps Education Edition product details, the advantages of Google Apps, followed by a demonstration of the Google Apps Education Edition product. One major challenge that we found for your users is that everything has shifted over the past few years from a focus of working as an individual to working in teams and groups. We've found that this is more true in education than anywhere else. Group projects and presentations for classes, we see collaboration on curriculum for teachers, working groups with the administration, joint research projects with faculty from other schools, and what we've noticed is that our technology has really not kept pace with our users' needs. So I want to walk you through a simple example of a group of students working on a project together as a team. In this example, I'm working on a paper with 4 of my classmates. You can see here that I've come up with the first version of my document. I send it out to 4 of my peers who I'm working on this project with, and I'm asking to get revisions back from them. I get revisions back from John, Bob, and Sally, and take a look at those changes to reconcile them to come up with revision 2.0. Again, I want feedback from my group, so I send out revision 2.0 to get changes that need to be made for our final product. I hear back from my 3 classmates again, but as you may notice, I have one friend, Rachel, who's a little bit slower than the rest of my group, and I get a revision back from her much later in the process. At this point, I really don't know what to do with the revision Rachel has sent back. I like to call this collaborating like it's 1999. A simple paper that I'm trying to work on with 4 of my classmates has become a really big challenge for me with the software and products I'm using today. And I've just created quite a mess in trying to work on a document with 4 of my friends. So that's from a user's perspective. We then take a look at the IT perspective of running these sorts of systems. Systems are complex, expensive, hard to deploy and manage. Software is expensive, hard to install, and even harder to maintain. And we find that deployments take a lot of time and planning and can be disruptive to users. And once you get all of this up and running, you end up in a cycle of break, patch, and repeat. So this may look familiar to a lot of you. And you end up constantly trying to make sure that nothing goes wrong with the environment that you are providing your users. And what ends up happening is a lot of the money that you are spending ends up going down the drain. And what we end up seeing is this becomes dead money. What we found in research that was done by Gartner a few years back was that on average, $8 out of $10 in IT do not contribute to change or growth. And this is really not acceptable to our partners, and we found that there really has to be a better way of doing this. There is a better way to manage this, and we think the solution is to replace that complex environment with a cloud computing solution hosted by a provider like Google. We provide applications for you hosted out of our data centers and accessible to your users through the internet. And this is accessible from any internet-enabled device. So be it a PC, Mac, mobile phone, cluster computers, computer in the room down the hall, or a PC at home during winter break at your mom and dad's house. You are able to access this information from anywhere. Now I want to specifically talk about what is included in Google Apps Education Edition. Google Apps Education Edition is a suite of collaboration and communication applications. Specifically included in Google Apps Education Edition, from a collaboration standpoint, is Google Docs, which includes documents for word processing, spreadsheets, and presentations, Google Sites, which allows you to create personal, team, or institutional websites, much like a wiki, and Google Video for Education, which allows you to have secure video sharing within your domain. From a communication perspective, Google Apps includes email, Google Talk, and Google Calendaring. We have several versions of Google Apps available to anyone. We have a free version available to consumers, as well as a business version that is available for paid customers. But we wanted to make a special offer to educational institutions. We understand that schools aren't the same as small businesses or families, and that you have some real enterprise class needs, and we wanted to make a product that would fulfill them. So our Education Edition offer includes, first of all, that it is free for all of your users. Secondly, we have no advertising for faculty, staff, and students, and this is across all of the applications that I previously mentioned. We give you 7.3 gigabytes of mail quota per user, and this is an amount that continues to grow, and all of your users will remain at your domain, such as @school.edu. We provide your administrators with 24/7 technical support via email and phone for critical issues, as well as the advanced integration capabilities, which allow you to integrate with systems that you already may have on your campus. Many of our customers ask us about data ownership, and I wanted to point out a few specific things about what happens when Google hosts your emails. Google does not own your data when you're using Google Apps Education Edition. We do not share your data. We keep your data as long as you want. We remove it when you ask, and we enable you to take your data elsewhere. So the main thing I want to point out is that as a Google Apps Education Edition customer, you retain ownership of your data, and you can choose to do with it what you would like. Additionally, we offer with Google Apps Education Edition some additional security and compliance packages. We understand that in addition to data ownership, schools have concerns about security and compliance issues, specifically around filtering of messages when it comes to K-12 schools and archiving for faculty and staff. We offer additional services that are available at a 66% discount to educational institutions through our Google Message Security and Compliance product. Some of these features include advanced administration of message filtering, ability to encrypt messages over the wire using advanced message security, unlimited storage for archiving of emails for e-discovery and litigation holds for up to 10 years, and additionally, many other configurable options including auditing, reports, and restoring emails from archives. The last thing I want to talk about before going into the actual demo is the advantages we see that you will get from using Google Apps Education Edition. The first is that you can leverage our infrastructure. In Google's case, this means massive data centers built for scalability, security, and efficiency. We set out to build an environment to run Google.com. Many people ask, how reliable is this environment? What we see is that many people, to test their internet connection, go to Google.com to see if the internet's working. I think that's a pretty good testament to how reliable Google.com and Google Apps Education Edition is. To do this and make this reliability, we built a custom hardware environment, a custom operating system based on Linux, a customer file system, and a customer application environment. And when you leverage our services, this becomes your IT environment. The second advantage we see to using Google Apps is collaboration. If you take our earlier example, the main problem was that everyone had a different copy of the document. But when you move your data into the cloud, it really enables you to have a new kind of real-time collaboration. With that earlier document example, everyone had a different copy. In the cloud, there really is only one version, the current version. Sure, we can keep copies of all the old versions to track changes, but when you're working in the cloud, everyone's on the same page, collaborating in real time. No one has to think about what version was the latest or if they have the most recent edits. The next advantage that we see to using Google Apps is the concept of upgrades and updates. When you're using Google Apps Education Edition, you're able to leverage the innovation that happens right here at Google. We continue to constantly innovate, and you do not have to wait on a new version of software to be released. You automatically have the latest and greatest. This is a snapshot of a 5-month period and just an example of a few features we launched. We launched over 300 features last year, and you have access to the thousands of engineers working